Hey everyone, we're the Bearded Bastards for the Villains Demand, continuing on session 37 of our D&D 5th edition game, The Ancient War Reborn. I'm your DM, JVD.
And I am Evan the Great for the Villains Demand, playing Luta Silverstring, the Elven Bard Paladin of Bahamut, Harper Agent, Stealth, whatever. Yeah, much stuff. Your turn.
Hey, I'm the Bearded Wonder with the Villains Demand, and I play Vesper Nork, the Moon Elf Rogue / Warlock of Block.
And I am Smiley playing Riker Nork, Agent of the Zentarum.
Alright, Evan the Great, give me the recap.
Oh, alright. So, recap wise, we ran from a Draco Lich. I don't know if that was on the last episode or not. We could not handle all that stuff. So, we teleported into Waterdeep, into the higher ranking member of the Zentarian. Can't remember her name. Their boss. His boss. And we sent some messages to Alteri, and we're going to gather. I'm playing this as Evan, or as in character-wise. I don't know they had a meeting in there, so I'm not going to talk about it. But we're going to get a Lord's Alliance meeting, and we're going to talk about what we need to do for the war. We're going to have some of the dragon people apparently setting in on this, and they're going to be very hard to persuade. So Luta right now is very confident because she gets to talk to the dragon people again. She's found out the secret location of one of the high-ranking members of the Zentarium, which is cool, and she's on cloud 9.
Alright, so, you guys have left to the secret chambers of the Lord's Alliance to meet with what members are there. As you guys come in, of course, Haven Tree is there with, she's your harbor leader. This is the woman that you've met, during this game that Leosin reports to Luta. You've got Lady Silverhand, whose husband has just been assassinated, and she's there with Alteri.
Yes.
Other than that, off the top of my head, I can't really, if I'm looking through everybody is almost left. There is no one here from the Lord's Alliance besides you guys and Haven Tree, Silverhand, and Alteri. Everybody else is gone. Leosin is with Jason and King Hikatin at Ironslag, thank you. I cannot think of Ironslag. And actually, by time frame, they might not even be there yet. Due to the time it would take them to get there, even flying as a giant. And then you still got, battles going on up there. As you sit there, Heaven Tree, she sits at the table besides Lady Silverhand, and Alteri stands beside her. Silverhand says, Alteri has filled me in, along with Raven Tree, of our current predicament, which is very unfortunate. Now, it does do me good to see Acrea's inside man. I was beginning to doubt some of that, but
I give a gracious bow.
She gives herself a nod. You notice Alteri, who you have never met, but you've just recently heard Luta speak of Riker. She gives you a very nasty look as you come in.
I'm assuming I don't know she's a dragon.
No, you have no clue she's a dragon.
That Luta never told me.
Yeah, she's a silver, and here you come with blue. Also, as you guys walk in, because Acura being a ruling member, she comes in first with the wise men, and then you follow up. Behind you comes Vesper, who she looks kind of shocked as you walk in, because she has not seen you with this mark. And her first words as Vesper walks in is, where did you get that, is what Alteri tells you. Why would you do that?
I had to bring somebody back. It was my fault they died.
This is war. People die. She's like, I cannot promise you what is about to take place will work. With that mark and the scent on him, This place will soon be rubble if things go wrong. She looks at Lady Silverhand. We should not have them here. They reek of chromatics.
The chromatic that gave me my powers is now dead. I killed her myself.
She says, you still bear the mark.
It doesn't exactly wash off, unfortunately.
She says, I have no way to cover this, Lady Silverhand. When the council arrives, they will be angry. Prothantor, he will lash out. And he will crush them.
They almost crushed me for being an elf.
But,
No, I'm letting them know. And you two bear symbols of their hatred.
very much so.
And I think of this until just now.
She tells Lady Silverhand, she's like, I beg you, remove them from this. Ackery just kind of turns around and looks at you guys. Kind of shrugs her shoulders like she's at a loss for what to do.
Milady, you know my desires.
She-
I will remove myself if you wish it.
She's like, it may be best. I do not know what is about to happen. She's like, but I assure you, if it is the council's will that he be removed, Lady Silverhand, then I will ask him to move. But I need to remind you, he has done very much for us here. If not for him, we would not know the information we currently know, or any of the information I brought to the table beforehand. He's a very valued piece. And Raventree kind of looks at Lady Silverhand, and she's kind of mulling it over. She's like, Agra, though that is true, he is not an inside man anymore. His information is out there. She's like, if O'Terry says what is true, and what I know is what to come, it is in all of our best interest that he does leave. And Vesper, I'm sorry, but if you bear a marking of the same thing, then it is wise that you leave too. For yours is far worse than his.
I'll just turn around and look up.
I will bow. Thank you for this time.
And she takes a bow. O'Terry, she comes and she stands over you, Luta. Why did you not tell me of Vesper's mark? When did this happen?
Because it's you forgot.
Because that will ruin all of this. And let me remind you, your words were not the wisest with the Council of Dragons beforehand.
They're not.
This is really going to look bad to them.
She lost.
A champion of Bahamut, who he has sent, the Shield of the North Wind, running around with someone with a marking of cloth.
We have made an agreement. When she was part of the Greensfield Company, she did not have this mark. She gained it to bring a lover back. That lover is no longer with us. She decided to stay somewhere else. After we defeat the threat, which is Tiamat, me and Vesper will have our bout or our separation. That I promise you.
Lady Silverhand, she kind of cuts O'Terry off. She's like, I understand what it's like to lose a lover now. She's like, but I can assure you, I would never sell my soul to a devil to bring my husband back. Despite what the odds are, what we are facing.
That is true. I was not there when Vesper done this, and I cannot take it back. She made a horrible decision. I will rest with her forever. And I will not associate myself once this task is done. But as a member of the Greenfield Company, We have to stay a group until the end. After this is over, we will part our ways, or we fight to the death. The mask is gonna go to the dragons.
Wow, fight to the death. You heard that, right?
They're not in the room.
Did we have a chance to leave yet?
I'll
Yeah,
let-
yeah,
I'll
you
let
guys
them
have left.
You have failed, good sir.
Okay, here we go. So, Lady Samurai, and she continues to speak. So that is out of the way. Well, Terry, will you please let our guests know that we are ready? And she says yes, and she casts a spell in an ancient language, and you feel these vibrations in this room, Luta and Riker and Vesper. You could feel them outside, and Riker, you would know this feeling where it's almost like when you're in a room and someone's teleporting in.
Yeah.
And Luta, you watch as at the end of the room, at the end of the table, this portal opens up, and 4 beings step out of it. And even though you have never seen them in this form, you automatically know who it is. And it's the other 4 members of the Counsel of Dragons that you've met.
Yep.
And you can all tell just by their color, much like Oteri, just by the colors they wear, who is who. And the human in gold, who is Profanter, he speaks up. He says, "Champion of Bahamut, I see you're still alive. Maybe the Platinum King did well in choosing you."
I've had my ups and downs, but I'm still here.
He says, "So I've heard." He says, "It seems more downs than ups."
That is true.
He says, "Tell me, why have you had her summon us?"
I fear I have bad news, but at least it leads in a direction that we all can head to. For we have been looking for these dragon masks, and I can tell you where 4 of them are. The black, blue, and red masks are at the Well of Dragons. We killed one of the black worm speaker, and we found out once you do that, the mask teleports there to the well. The white mask resides in Talith. She has something I've never seen before. It looks of you, but it's an undead in nature.
That it does not look of me. You insult me?
No, the size, your size. But undead in nature. They call it a Dracolich.
This is an abomination.
It is.
A scar on this world.
I am scared that there's many of these at the well.
He says, "That does not surprise me. The Well of Dragons is where our lesser kin go to die. This place is known to me. It is known to all of Dragonkind. It calls to us.
That is where 3 of the masks are.
Tells you,
I am not
since the dragon horn has been blown months ago, we feel its call. Yet we resist. But in due time, all chromatics will answer its call. Once the dragon masks are assembled there, he said, the world is doomed."
It is. That's why I seek your help. For I alone, or with my companions, cannot go in and get these dragon masks. We're not
And,
powerful enough.
He says, your companions. He says, the chromatics behind the door. He says, I can smell them.
They are only my companions until the task is done. They have made choices that do not set well with me.
He says, as they should not. Says, why side with them?
Vesper was here in the beginning. I tried to make her a better person, pull her from rock bottom. She's made a deal for love by trading her soul with cloth. She's took his mark. So as a friend, I will pursue to still try to stop Tiamat with her. But her plan is to give these to cloth. My plan is to give these to you. The real dragons that's going to correct this world. At that point, we're going to have a conflict. The other one is her brother. He's been a infiltrator, how do you say this?
Infiltrator?
A spy?
A spy for the cult, or a spy for the Zit to get inside the cult. They do not know I say all this, or if they do, it don't matter now.
My ears against the door.
But my sword and my soul belong to Bahamut. And I will use any resources I can to get there. Even if I have to work with evil to combat this Tiamat. It cannot rise. After that, we'll sort through our difficulties.
You put your ear up to the door, Rocker. And as you put your hand, you're trying to hear. Vesper, what are you doing?
Just kind of going like this, you
What am I
know.
doing?
Mm-hmm.
Just sharpening my weapons.
You do, and as you do, roll me in acrobatics.
Oh,
Shit.
I didn't mean like this.
You're fine, just roll me in acrobatics.
Not 20.
That 20.
Yeah.
You catch yourself as the door disappears, and you kind of stumble back, and then you feel the presence of these men, but you're used to such might.
Yeah.
Vesper, roll me a will save. Roll me that wisdom.
18.
You fail. And you have felt fear like this before as these people stand before you and you feel the power of ancient dragons as you stare upon them. I would assume that you might be like just kind of standing up against them like, I've met your kind before. Like, I don't fear you.
I know that they have pride issues,
Yes.
and when I see them, I will immediately calmly kneel down and bow before them, like prostrate.
You go to bow, and Vesper does all she can, just like start to back up down the hallway. And she says,
Open the door. Shit.
the one that you see do this is he's a dwarf in brass armor, and you see where he has cast this spell. And you're an intelligent creature.
Yeah.
You've been a spy. You've learned a lot of things. And this dwarf, and he's got light brass armor on, wears a lot of rings and whatnot, and he wears a scroll around his neck. And he says, "Come in."
My thanks.
Says, "I do not judge, but I do find you curious."
My thanks.
He says, "Please, would you care to get the other?"
Vespa. And I help her in if she needs help.
Their fear, they've come down the Aurora. And Vesper, you feel the fear subside, though you still tremble as you walk into the room. And this man, brass, this dwarf, he says, "Please, sit. We are all to be in this together." Yes.
I had hoped to be able to take part.
Prothander, he's like, "They were not invited." He says, "Yes, they are. I'm letting them in." He says, "Sacrifices were given here. Sacrifices are what's known in war. Let them speak their part if asked." And he kind of looks, and he looks at Tasmakella. She is the brass. She's copper. And she says, "Promanther, calm down." He says, "Fair enough." He says, "Miss Silverstring, champion of the Platinum King, do you have what I asked for?
Which one is this?
This is Promanther.
Yeah, let's see what he asked for. If I wrote, I'm pretty sure I wrote it down.
I don't remember him asking for anything.
Yeah, he asked for something.
I remember the armor.
His was not an object.
Oh my God, is he the one that wanted King Brunar to build him a,
No. None of these wanted King Brunar.
ebon sword?
No.
Hmm.
That's what Taz McKellar wanted, but she was not worried about it.
Alright, let me find it.
Taz McKellar, the two females are the ones that were willing to help.
Yeah.
Pro Tanthor, what did he want? Do you remember?
Holy shit, I forgot about that.
What? Silver efficiency.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What color is he?
He's the gold one.
Let me know
I got gold dash Promanther Bahamut.
He's a king of justice, he was. He wants an apology for someone worthy enough to speak of all elves for what they've done during the time of the Draco Rage.
You see, I heard you say dwarves.
Yeah, I got dwarfs wrote down.
No.
Yeah.
One of them did want something from the
Yeah.
dwarves.
The bronze one needed
Wanted the
apologies
bronze
from
one.
the dwarf king.
Wanted
The dragon boots.
Bronze dragon armor and an
Yep.
apology for Brunner is what you
Bronze
said.
armor, dragon boots, copper. Wanted the ebon sword. The brass wanted all the mask. Alteri, the silver dragon, and all I got on the gold one it says the Promanther Bahamut. Nothing
Yeah, you
else.
did right. Yeah, he wanted an apology from someone who could speak for all elves.
Do we know anyone like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They're not here.
I honestly can't think of anyone like that.
What's her name from Half Horse?
No, it's the
Nope.
No.
it's the Harper agent.
Mm-mm.
No. Oh,
Vesper and Luta wrote me some wisdom checks.
16.
13.
You need a 15, that'd be moderate. King Belendrach,
No.
wild elf, male,
Let me write this
the
down.
Misty Force. He represents all the elves of the Misty High Force.
Oh,
He's
see,
a king.
I didn't know of him.
King what?
King Belendrach. Roll me a wisdom check, Riker.
Wisdom?
I need a 15.
17 on the die.
Cool. What lurks in the Misty Forest right now?
Wasn't it the green dragon?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. There is a green dragon mask with a worm speaker that roams the Misty Forest.
So we may have an in to get a mask.
I'm not saying that. I'm just
Oh.
reminding you of that. You can, if that's what you assume, it's what you assume.
Think
I'm
this-
just
No,
putting
well, I
two
don't
and
know
two
who,
together
I don't know who
for
they're talking
you.
about. I
Yes.
never met the guy.
Yeah,
I
but I'm
tell-
just letting him roll a check to
Yeah.
see if they remembered anybody.
I don't think he was there during the last meeting that we had either, though.
I tell you, I have not.
No, because everybody had already started to leave.
Since he hadn't been there yet. Oh, he's a bastard.
Who?
That king
No, that's
guy. Was
never.
he the one that was
That's
in
never.
everything?
That's never.
No, that's never Ember.
Okay, yeah.
This
he's
was the cool guy
yeah.
that threw West Vegas
Oh,
the
okay.
door.
I told Promanther that I have not had the opportunity to speak to the Elven King.
The male, the halfling in bronze, Nimur, he says, in one of my armors.
We did speak to Ron about it. He said he would do
Yeah.
it.
We did speak to the Dwarven King, and he is building those. But he has
Or
had
not
to.
procuring, not to build,
Yeah,
but to
yeah,
procure.
procuring.
Yeah.
He had to go to Iron Slag with his army.
His army is actually on its way.
Well, on the way here, but yeah.
And he says, so you're not making due on your promises.
They're in the works, but they're not complete yet. For time is very limited with everything that's happening.
It's actually just been a few days.
Luthra, the bronze, who had made the door to spare, he says, come now. Time is of the essence. He says, I had asked for the mask, yet they were never here. I expected as much. Talks in a very calm demeanor, very soft-spoken. He says, but I do understand that things require time, and time is something we do not have. He says, please, Romanther, Emir, understand this, that if you let your egos preside here and wait for these things, then the queen will rise, and we, the metallics, will fall. Do we want that? I am willing to put my side and even offer an invite to those who have had the blood of our enemies put into their veins. I can put that aside and realize what they have done to get us to this point. He says, I'm asking you, in your hearts, as a former king of justice, to understand they have paid a price to get to this time. Romanther's like, no. They gave their lives to evil. I should not trust them.
If I may, I gave my life to protect everyone. I made the deal to get in order to feed information of them back here. That is why my deal was made, to buy me a cover. And we slew the one which I made the deal with. If you can remove it from me, then I would ask you to.
Tasman kind of speaks up. Wise words, but we cannot remove another worm's mark from you. You are claimed by them.
I understand.
For I could find an ancient ritual, such as the chromatics are known for, and make you of me, but I would never choose to do that. I'd much rather see people have their own free will. She's like, and I know if Tiamat rises, that none will have free will. And Akari is like, and if it was not for me and my intelligence to place him, and Romanther's like, silence! You do not speak out of turn. And for the first time in your life, Riker, you've seen Akari shrink back. He says, I asked for an apology, and it is an apology that I will get before I act with anyone at this table. I believe our kind, and he looks at his fellow dragons in disguise, can win this war. We do not need the small folk of this land, the small folk who have done nothing but cause us problems for millennia. We have no reason to trust them. Together, our might will stop their chromatics. We will destroy Tiamat. You can see that Oteri, she just kind of looks defeated at that. She is realizing that he will not budge.
I could try to talk to him. I got
So I
I got 13, lowest I can roll is 23.
That whole professional work here that you get for like bonuses, he is a gold dragon. You are
Well,
cloth.
it says all dragons.
Yeah, but I'm the DM. I am overriding that at this time.
I forgot I have a special ability.
What is your special ability?
If I'm using skills, I do get to roll advantage with dragons.
This is what I was waiting for. Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to go to like a roll, but then because I haven't rolled it all, I've just been role playing.
No, you've done really well.
I want to say, Romanther, you're the mightiest, probably, of your kind.
He kind of looks up like he'll accept that. That's a good start.
And without you, I'm doing this all in character.
I'd hope so.
Us small folk probably are nothing but fleas to you. But there's some of us who have the same, they all have the same word that clings on everybody's tongue, and it's called hope. There's beings that people pray to. There's altars that get knelt upon. This world needs hope. And hope is usually resides itself in strength. And you are the strongest one that I can think of that can help us in this war. I promise you, I will get that elf to apologize to you. I just have to have the time and place to get there. But like they say, time is of the essence, and it's hard to be in multiple places at one time.
You can cast a sending. I can also have them here by tomorrow. if he's willing to come.
And if he does not apologize, then I will do whatever you see fit as a punishment for him for not apologizing to you, Promether. Even if it means giving my life.
Oh, Terry tells you there is no need for you. And he cuts her off. So you would give your life to me if I chose so.
If you will help us in this war, I'd rather my life go to the wayside than you not help. Your power is much needed.
I want to tell you something right there. Every time you'd speak to Leosa and you guys would, and something like this would happen, something of importance, he would always talk about hope. And now look, his protege here has turned the circle complete and done it herself. Bravo. Good job. Good job. I'd give you an inspiration for Jerry out.
Yeah.
Roby, persuasion.
All right. Persuasion is 5 and 5. Okay.
You got advantage.
Yeah, an advantage.
And you can spend your inspiration
Yeah,
if you need
we're
it.
trying to get it. As a 1 and a 5, I will use my inspiration, which means I have 0 now, because I need to roll higher than a 5, I'm sure.
Do you want a different dice?
No. I rolled with these.
Oh.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Here's the keys to my house, my
That's a
car.
20 for
my
those who
bed,
see
my
it on
wife's
the camera.
upstairs. Have fun.
So what is your overall?
It will be a 29.
All right.
There's a lot of
He shakes
deals
his head,
for that too.
You're willing to sacrifice it all. He says,
Yes.
I see that Bahamut, my platinum king, chose right. And he takes a knee to you. He says, you have my service.
And the air horns go off in the background.
Remember, he says, and what of the armors? Says, I will not be so kind as Promanther, for it was the elves that made us lose our minds. Because of that, the dwarves hunted us down. They took our skin for their own protection. I cannot look past that.
What?
Many of my kind I knew were slain at the hands of dwarves.
When I spoke to Bruno, just he was getting them together.
But Bruno was also busy
Yeah.
with the whole Vodden God.
I tell you, in our quest to get where we are, I had a friend who could build you this armor almost as well as Bruno himself, I'm sure. He gave his life so that we could continue this quest, and I wish he was here right now, because he will have the words that I cannot muster. He will have the skill that I do not have. But as your armor that you seek, I will try to get it as quick as possible. In the meantime, would you like to have something of equal value?
He says, what can you give me of equal value to all of my kin that lost their lives? You give me a life for a life? No one in this room can add up to the amount of dragons the dwarves slayed during their dragon boots.
Is there a reason that he wants out of game? Is there a reason he wants the armor?
Because it's of his kind. It's all dragon armor. They were killing
Yeah.
dragons to make armor out of them.
I take my armor off. Piece by piece, I lay it on the table.
What type of armor do you have?
It's the one that he made in Brunor's Forge.
The scales from the two dragons.
He says, he takes it with a turn of his hand, he pulls it to him. This is fine work. He says, but it is the hide of our lessers.
I put my sword on the table. Maybe you would like this. Maybe the white dragon itself that we slain. I slide it to him.
And he picks it up. And he studies the sword.
This
It
one-
is well balanced.
This is the greatest weapon I've ever wielded.
I see it bears the same forge mark as the armor.
Does.
This man,
This is a stroke towards ego
this
from my Ogma's
this
forge.
dwarf has great hands.
Do anything if he could come back.
Says, I will accept this for what I need. He takes the knee and he says, you have my services. I will do what I can for my kind to bring them to your aid. Luthra, the brass dragon who wore the mask, he approaches and he pulls up a chair and he sits beside you and he says, you would give your weapons of war away before going to war? Do you find that wise?
My most powerful weapon is my mind. People think I'm stupid. I've got this far.
He says, I admire your courage and your bravery. I will give you a weapon for the weapons that you have given here. I find that fair.
In return, I'll give you all the masks. He's the one that's going to put them in
Says-
the time plane, right?
We will deal with that when the masks come. He says, but if you were to give your finely crafted weapons, it's like, I will give you a weapon in return. He says, I admire what you're doing here. Seems you have learned much from our meeting not too long ago.
I have.
Hopefully, with what you've done, you can prove our kind wrong on how they view small folk. You've done a big thing here.
I've come a long way. I do not want to fail now.
Says, together, hopefully we will not. And he begins to cast a spell in a language none of you understand. And you see a gate opened up. And you, at this gate, you see this small hamlet. All these buildings, people milling around and whatnot. You hear the ringings of smithy hammers. He says, the building there, the weapons inside, I've had it crafted since the last time I've met you. And it has proven itself to be effective in battle. It will give its everything, much like you.
It's like a portal I gotta walk into.
Yeah, it's a gate. Like the spell gate.
Look around the room and I walk into the gate.
Everybody seems to be very pleased as you walk through. As you walk through the streets, they all offer you a nod and a very warm and friendly smile. And you can hear the rings of smithy hammers everywhere in this place. And it's like you're drawn to this door, this building he's pointed to. Do you open it?
First I glanced at this place. It's not like where we're from. It's normal.
It's very small and simple. It almost, I guess in a way, it would remind you of Greenus.
Yes. It gives me hope that what I want to restore to our lands. So I will use that as motivation to approach this workshop.
You open the door, and at this forge you see this gray-headed gnome. And he's sitting there, and you can't tell what he's forging, but he's got his prongs he's putting in water. And he tells you, it's never going to work. Your ideas are always out there. It's never going to work. And then you hear a familiar voice, a dwarven voice. And from around the corner, you see Orin Whitehammer. I got goosebumps just thinking about this. This is good. And what he's got, he drops it and he sees you. Luta?
Lord?
Am I dreaming?
Am I dreaming?
Buddy, you're a at the bloody oxen, alright.
I run over and hug Orin.
Calm down, girl.
I'm almost like an excited dog, you know. I jump up.
Perry says, is this one of them?
Ah, it's Luta. So what's the matter herself?
And
Back?
he miswears my manners and he's trying to wipe his sooty hands off on his apron and he sticks his hand out.
This is Periwinkle. Boastas himself, me best friend that I've ever had.
And he says,
Shake his hand.
I've heard a lot about you.
I shake his hand like really fast.
And you can see what he was working on, and they were working on another thunder cannon.
Wow.
Ord looks like he's better than he's ever had in his entire life. He looks healthy. He looks happy. He is in the realm of Ogma.
Whoa. I say, I don't know if that's where I'm at.
No, you don't.
I say, we're in a council meeting and I've done great
You
things.
gotta
and
tell me. See, find the girl.
I've not found her yet.
Just make sure you do it, eh?
The world is we've got close, but we have not succeeded in defeating
I
Tiamat.
bet you will.
But we will. We now have,
And to let that Vesper alone. Get another dragon's ass.
I don't want to say nothing to upset him, you don't know. Well,
I know you made a deal with Cloud. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say, the dragons have decided to aid us.
That's good, that's what you needed, right?
It took a lot of hard work and dangerous situations.
Oh, but danger's the spice of life. You gotta live it.
I say, a day does not go by and I think of you.
Oh, don't do it on me.
I'm not, but there's many times where you stopped me from doing something stupid, and I'll stop myself sometimes.
You should have.
So you've installed something great in me.
If that's all you took it from me, then I'm a happy man.
I must apologize.
How's Rupert doing? Did he make it out?
Yes, it took a little while, but we have retrieved him, and
What is he? I told you I finished me, man.
He just kind of shakes his head like he's astonished.
I'll tell you that Rupert, he's a great ally. He will protect me at all costs. He's almost like I've adopted him, somewhat.
Aye.
He still likes, I ride on him quite a bit.
And how's Vesper doing? She takes things hard. She needs a friend. Not accusation.
We have located her brother.
Huh? Did I tell her the name? What make it worse?
It has really confused things. He is a vent that was deep into the cult.
He was acquiesced then.
Yes. I've tried to learn to trust him, but I still fear that,
Vesper may be dark. She may be sour, bitter.
yes.
She hates the world, but she has good, the greatest amongst all of us, really.
She has good covered and the evil right now. I wish to hopefully try to remove this evil from her. Cloth is nothing but, I don't know.
You don't think what a big win with
There we
with
go.
now to a problem.
Yes.
As you're talking, you feel this presence behind you, and you look, and there's the dragon, the one that opened this portal, the one who had the scroll around his neck,
Which dragon was that?
Luta.
Luta, he's not my best friend.
And Ord, you've spoken to this dragon many times since your demise, and he says, "Time is of the essence. Ord,
Hey,
you need to make a decision.
don't have to go.
The decision is yours."
You could return.
She has given your finely crafted weapons and armor,
Aye.
and I promised them a weapon in return. And I know no other weapon better to defeat the dragons than your intelligence.
Aye.
But the choice is yours. You're not forced to go. You're welcome to her for the rest of your days. Perry looks at you.
But I've got work to do. I pick up the Thunder Cannon. Let's get going, Luta. I'll be back.
And Perry says, "You better.
Yeah.
I was lonely here without you."
Oh, you could get rid of me if you tried.
He says, "I realize that, even in death." He says, "But go." He says, "I look forward to your return, friend."
Aye.
Let's go slay a bit of a dragon.
And you guys turn, and Luta, what you would assume is a smile, says, "Come." Says, "The weapon is here."
I walk we walk towards Luther.
You guys walk through the gate, and Vesper, as everybody's looking through the gate, you see this dragon turn and Luta walk out the door. And behind her is Ord.
I'm just gonna run up to Oregon.
You run through the gate.
Oh my God!
Oh, they're gonna come down. It's good to see you.
Says, Luther's like, "Understand the pleasantries, and you're happy to be back." It's like, "But we need to go. We need to head to the Well of Dragons."
Aye.
As you guys exit the gate, you see this scroll he draws in the air, and it hits Ord in the chest, and the runes pop out. And they swirl around him. The scroll rolls up, and it's tied in a small tube around his neck. You only have so long, Ord.
I understand.
Use your time wisely.
Best not to waste it then.
So, you see all the other dragons, they have a smile on their face. And Acria sits there in disbelief, as does Riker. And, Riker says, "Well, I see the Greensfield company is together again."
Aye.
We were never apart.
Very well spoken. So Silverhand says, "So what is the plan of action?"
Oh, we just started to a well kick smash, right? The simple of it, right? That's the short of it.
Promanther says, "Much has happened since you've been gone, good dwarf.
Oh, my apologies. I need some filling in.
We need armies assembled very quickly."
Oh, quick, that's the catch right there. I could make an army, but that'll take time.
I tell you,
I can open circles, teleportation circles all over Faerun. If it'll speed things up a bit.
that will be much needed.
Luthor says, "I'm sure with our magics, we could do the same." And the rest of the dragons kind of nod. Says, "After all, our kind are not the smallest on Faerun. Gates will be needed."
Yep.
Says, "So we'll send messages to our allies, and we will disperse ourselves, and we'll meet where this all started. We'll march from the greenest."
Aye.